This is Far Harbor.
Oh yeah, hey, welcome to my walkthrough of Far Harbor. This is it. We're going to do a walkthrough of Far Harbor, the DLC of Far Harbor. This is going to take us into a new map altogether. A big new map, lots of new missions, new monsters, the whole bit. And we're going to kick off this walkthrough with a build video, okay? This is going to show you the build that I specially prepared for Far Harbor. First of all, humble apologies, there was no video yesterday. I'm behind schedule a little bit. It was kept up till 5 in the morning by some fucking noisy neighbors.
Slack, that was pretty loud. You know, like if you want to talk about noisy neighbors.
Shut up, Pee-wee.
Just saying.
And yeah, so I'm a little behind schedule. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to do this build video off the cuff. Meet Lucky Thompson. This is my guy there, Lucky Thompson. He specializes in critical hits, okay? So we're back to VATS. I just finished 2 back-to-back no VATS runs through Fallout 4, and now we're going to get back to VATS, and Lucky specializes in critical hits, and this is going to be perfect for Far Harbor. Let's start off with the attributes distribution, alright? Here we go. Here's what I started out with. Strength 2, Perception 1, Endurance 1, Start again. Strength 2, Perception 1, Endurance 2, Charisma 1, Intelligence 6, Agility 6, and Luck 10. Just a quick side note, if you're trying to work out a build on paper, and you know, like you don't want to do it in the game, you want to do it on paper, all you have to do is make sure that all your numbers add up to 28. Okay? Because you start out with 1 point in each attribute, and then you're given 21 points at the beginning to spend on all the attributes. So 7 attributes plus 21 points is 28. So that's an easy way to figure out if your build adds up correctly. This build took about a week to put together. Let's say 3 full days plus a bunch of half days here and there as I was working on videos for my channels. So I'd say about a week. Would have taken a lot longer if I did not use console commands to make adjustments as I went along the way. Otherwise I would have to like restart every time I made a mistake. And you know, let's say for example I figured out, oh okay, I didn't want you know, I want more points in strength and less points in endurance, and instead of like restarting from the beginning, I just use console commands. But don't worry, everything adds up. I did all the math and everything adds up. This is a perfectly legitimate build. This final build, what I'm showing you here, is perfectly legitimate, okay? So that's the starting distribution of attribute points, and I did spend 4 of my leveling up points to further bump up some of these attributes. I spent 2 in strength, so now strength is up to 5. Oh yeah, first of all, let's backtrack a bit. I got all the bobbleheads, okay? All the attribute bobbleheads, alright? So automatically add 1 to the build I showed you in the beginning, and then I spent 2 points to bring strength up to 5. I spent 1 point to bring agility up to 9, and I spent 1 point, just looking at my notes here, to bring charisma up to 3. Alright, that's all very important, right? Now, as far as perks, what perks did I get? Just going to show you a list here. This is exactly how I did it. Okay, with like I said, I made a few changes with console commands, but this is exactly how this plan goes, okay? Level 2, I got Better Criticals 1. Where is that? Better Criticals. Here we go. These 2 perks here are the basis of this build. Better Criticals and Critical Banker. Better Criticals makes your critical hits do more damage, and Critical Banker gives you more critical hits, allows you to stack up critical hits. Alright, so instead of just having 1 critical hit at your disposal, you could have like 3 or 4. Alright, and alright, so like level 2 Better Criticals 1, level 3 Critical Banker 1. So already we can stack up 2 critical hits and save them, alright? And I'm going to show you that in action later on. Level 4, I got Gun Nut 1. Right here. This will allow us to mod pipe pistols, and mod a hunting rifle that we're going to use in the beginning that will help you through the build. Level 5, I got Rifleman 1. That's very important for the most important weapon in this build, which is the Righteous Authority laser rifle. I'll get to that in a minute, okay? And we're going to be bumping up Rifleman all the way up to 3. Level 6, I used a point to bump agility up to 8. And I forgot to mention that I used the special book in Sanctuary to bump agility up to 7, okay? So Sanctuary bumps it up to 7, spend a point at level 6 to bump it up to 8, and then eventually we're going to get the bobblehead to bump it up to 9. Alright? Level 7, I got Science 1, which is very important to mod the Righteous Authority laser rifle. Alright? Level 8, I got Bloody Mess. Bloody Mess 1. Do plus 5% damage. Level 9, I got Rifleman 2. You can get Rifleman 2 at level 9. Level 10, I got Bloody Mess 2. Alright? Level 11, I got Action Boy 1. Very important for this kind of build. You want to regenerate your action points as quickly as possible. Because otherwise, when you run out of action points, you're caught with your pants down if you can't use VATS, alright? So we're going to max out action points. Level 12, I got Armorer 1. I wasn't that concerned about getting Armorer perks right away, because I would highly recommend that you don't do any armor mods until you get Armorer rank 2, just to save on components, and it's not really necessary. Okay, so don't bother, you know, modding your armor at level 1. Wait till you get Armorer rank 2, and then start modding your armor. Alright? And level 13, that's it. I got Armorer 2. But before you get Armorer 2, before you get Armorer 1 actually, what you're going to have to do is go get the Strength bobblehead in the Mass Fusion building. I'll talk about that later on, okay? Level 13, I got Armorer 2. Level 14, I saved the perk point. Alright, that's very important. Didn't spend it. Level 15, I got Better Criticals 2. Alright, so now we're at that. And that's what I'm going to take into Far Harbor. Level 16, I saved the perk point again. Alright, level 17, I got 2 perks. Critical Banker 2 and Science 2. So once again, Science is necessary to mod the Righteous Authority. Level 18, we still have an extra point to spend. Level 18, I got Action Boy 2 and Rifleman 3. Alright, once again, Rifleman 3 will be for the Righteous Authority laser rifle. Level 19, I got Chemist 1. Level 20, I got Chemist 2. Level 21, I spent a point to bump up Strength. Okay, so Strength will now be up to 4. Okay, we got to use the bobblehead to get it up to 3. Strength is now up to 4. Level 22, I spent another point to bring Strength up to 5. Level 23, I got Heavy Gunner 1. Level 24, I got Heavy Gunner 2. And you may be wondering, why in the world did I get Heavy Gunner? I don't want to do any spoilers. That's all going to become apparent. Pretty much the first video in Far Harbor, you'll see why I get Heavy Gunner. And if you know why, don't post a comment about it, because people don't like spoilers, okay? If you can't help yourself, whatever. You know, it's YouTube. There's no rules. You try to impose rules, but people just ignore you anyways, yeah. Where was I? Level 25, I got Armorer 3. Level 26, I got Heavy Gunner 3. I got Armorer 3 at level 25 because you can get it at level 25. So I took a break from leveling up Heavy Gunner to get Armorer 3 as soon as possible, okay? Level 26, I got Heavy Gunner 3. Level 27, I spent 1 point to bump up Charisma to 3. I know I started at 1, but you get the Charisma bobblehead in your travels. I'll explain that later when I start talking about the quest, okay? So now Charisma is up to 3, and eventually we start putting points into Lone Wanderer, if that's your thing. I always go solo, okay? If you don't go solo, then you know, you can spend those perk points elsewhere. And finally, level 28, which is where I'm going to take this build into Far Harbor. I got Science rank 3, which is only available at level 28. Alright? So that's how I spent my perks up to level 28. Now, weapons. The star of the show is the Righteous Authority. Here it is right there. Why? Because it is a legendary weapon that has critical hits do double damage and the critical meter fills 15% faster. I suspect it's more, but like I can fill up the critical hit meter in 3 shots. Alright? Enough talk, let's just see it in action. Want to see it in action? Here we go. Taking on the Deathclaw. The Deathclaw that you usually find in front of Virgil's cave there, way down in the glowing sea. This is the Righteous Authority in action. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Bye-bye Deathclaw. How about the Courser at the top of the Green Tech Genetics building? That really tough son of a bitch you have to take out at the end of the Hunter Hunted quest. This Courser here, he goes invisible and stuff like that. It's a real son of a bitch taking him out if you don't take him out hard and fast. Boom. Down he goes. So, how do you mod this sucker to get the most out of it? Here's what I did to mod it in the beginning. Okay, I focused on boosted capacitor, sniper barrel, short stock, reflex sight, and that's it actually. Those 4 right there. I have in my notes that I put the gyro compensating lens, but I changed my mind. It didn't really make any difference. Yeah, so that's it. Those 4 right there. Boosted capacitor, sniper barrel, short stock, and the reflex sight. And this gave me 6 shots in VATS at the beginning, I believe, if I recall correctly. Alright? And as you continue to mod the Righteous Authority, as you're working, as you get more perks into science, right? Stick with that plan. The only thing you're really going to do is... Let's just go over the workbench here. The only thing you're going to change, okay? Short stock is going to remain the same. Reflex sight is going to remain the same. No muzzle. These are all specially selected to give you the most shots in VATS, okay? This is not about damage or range or anything else. It's all about getting the most shots in VATS and with a balance of damage, okay? You get the most damage with the sniper barrel. You don't really need a big magazine since you're in VATS, alright? So as you work your way through and you start adding points into science, always improve the capacitor, alright? So you start out with boosted capacitor, then you move up to maximized capacitor, and then finally when you're at science rank 3 you go to overcharged capacitor. Same with sniper barrel, alright? As you work your way up, you start out with the regular sniper barrel, then you go to the improved sniper barrel, alright? You can get that at science rank 2. And that's it. That's the only changes you're going to make to the Righteous Authority as you work your way through. And this is a kick-ass weapon. Once you get it up to even at science rank 2, you can go down. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's really powerful. It's really tremendously powerful. You can go down to these really high-level threat territories, okay, all the way at the southern end of the map and at the eastern end of the map and still kick ass. Here I am way down near Spectacle Island, just kind of roaming around with reckless abandon, and I got accosted by a Mirelurk King. Mirelurk Kings are rated at level 30 and the area is rated at level 45 plus, threat level 45 plus, and I'm having no problems with this. I believe I'm now at around level 24, 25, I forget. But yeah, you know, I'm just wandering around, like I said, with reckless abandon in these high-level enemy territories. Oh yeah, of course, how do you get the Righteous Authority? You get the Righteous Authority for free. Alright, you get it for free and you can get it really early in the game. All you have to do is go down to the Cambridge Police Station. As you get close to the Cambridge Police Station, like for example when you get maybe within range of Grey Garden, when you get down to Grey Garden, you'll start getting a radio signal. I believe it's this one right here. Military frequency AF95. Once you get that signal, clue in on it, and they'll call you over to the Cambridge Police Station. Go down to the Cambridge Police Station, help everybody out there. You'll hook up with Paladin Dance and all the Brotherhood of Steel guys. Help them out, wipe out the ghouls there, and then Paladin Dance will ask if you want to go on another mission to, it's called Call to Arms, the next mission, right? Curtain Call, Call to Arms, this mission right here. And that'll take you over to the ArcJet systems. Complete that mission and Paladin Dance will reward you with the Righteous Authority for free. Now, it'll probably be a pistol, but you could change it into a rifle, and that'll give you more damage with your rifleman perks. Alright? Now, for a starting weapon, here's what I use. It's just basically a pipe pistol with a powerful receiver, short light barrel, sharpshooter's grip, large quick eject mag, glow sights, and large bayonet. It's a great starting critical hitter. Alright? Gives you 7 shots in VATS. It's only 19 damage, but yeah, it gives you 7 shots in VATS, and it's pretty good emergency backup run and gunner when you run out of AP, okay, when you run out of action points. And it's also pretty good for quickly building up crits. Alright? When you get down to the Drumlin Diner, I suggest you buy a hunting rifle and make this your crit hitter, okay? A hunting rifle with a powerful receiver, a short light barrel, a short stock, quick eject mag, glow sights, and a bayonet. And then use that until you finally get down and complete the Call to Arms quest with Paladin Dance. You can get yourself the Righteous Authority. And once again, the Righteous Authority modded with the boosted capacitor, sniper barrel, short stock, reflex sight, and nothing in the muzzle. Alright? That's that. What else did I make? After I got the Righteous Authority and I modded that up, I made a backup weapon. You pretty much always want a backup weapon in case you run out of action points, okay? And you don't want to be using your Righteous Authority because it's specially modded for that action. This is the backup weapon I made for in case I run out of action points. I call it the Slackinator. It's pretty much a auto pipe rifle, and this actually outperforms a submachine gun, okay? It's a pipe rifle with a hardened auto receiver, a long ported barrel, marksman stock, large quick eject mag, glow sights, and a muzzle brake. Alright? And I believe all those can be gotten with gun nut rank 1. So you don't need anything else besides gun nut 1. You can get all those, okay? Hardened auto receiver, long ported barrel, marksman stock, large quick eject mag, glow sights, and muzzle brake. So that's it. I don't really have many weapons. As you can see right now, I only have 3 weapons. And these are 2 legendaries that I found along the way. I'll explain those later. Yeah, I don't really need those actually. This is now my new backup run out of VATS emergency run out of action points emergency weapon. Okay, I'll show you that later. It's pretty kick butt. It's pretty much equivalent to the spray and pray. Got really lucky with this. Alright, so that's that. Armor. This is all the armor that is specially selected for this build, okay? I tried to leave the original names here just so that, you know, I love to rename all my stuff here, but I left the original names. I just put the in front of it so that it would group all my armor at the bottom of the list, which is the way I like it. A lot of you guys are always trying to suggest me to put a dash in front of it so that it groups all my stuff at the top of the list. I prefer it at the bottom because you spend most of your time either dumping off stuff or selling stuff. And when you're doing that, you want the stuff that you sell and the stuff that you dump off at the top, not the bottom. So this is my stuff here. Let's go through it one by one. Champion right arm gives you +1 agility and +1 perception. Very important. You can get the champion right arm from Becky Fallon at Diamond City Market. It's fairly cheap, nothing too expensive. The Wastelander's chest piece. Where's that? Here we go. Wastelander's chest piece. +1 agility once again and +1 perception. Anything that bumps up agility and perception is going to be great for this build, alright? And this is fairly cheap as well. And the Wastelander's chest piece also comes with the Biokamesh mod, which makes your drugs last a lot longer. So that plus 2 points in Chemist makes your drugs last. I mean, I think my cycle lasts almost 30 minutes, if I recall correctly. my jet lasts half a minute instead of 10 seconds, okay? Half a minute. My jet lasts half a minute, yeah. Makes your drugs last ridiculously long. 2 points in chemist, and the Wastelander's chest piece, and yeah. That you can get from Myrna at Diamond City Market, okay? So once again, those 2 pieces, the champion right arm, Becky Fallon in Fallon's basement at Diamond City Market, and the Wastelander's chest piece from Myrna, the one that's right next to Arturo in Diamond City Market, right? The Destroyer's left leg, you get this from Daisy, that ghoul, the ghoul girl merchant in Good Neighbor, okay? She'll sell that to you. And anything that allows you to move faster, okay? This increases the wearer's movement speed by 10%. I thought this was really important because you don't want to be sprinting around all the time, all right? You want to, because that uses up your action points, okay? You want to like pretty much walk, well not walk, but like run everywhere instead of sprinting, run. And I thought that anything that increases my movement speed so that I could run and still keep a good pace would be really important. So that's why I got the Destroyer's left leg and the Destroyer's right leg, okay? The left leg you get from Daisy at Good Neighbor. The right leg you get from Alexis at Vault 81, all right? And just show you them on the map. You guys know where these places are. You're probably very familiar. Diamond City Market, of course, I don't have to show you where that is. Good Neighbor is right here. Right? There's Diamond City Market, there's Good Neighbor. Vault 81 is to the west of Diamond City Market, is right there. You will have to bring 3 fusion cores or have pretty high charisma to get into Vault 81. Alright? So where was I? We covered the legs, we covered the chest piece, we covered the champion right arm. The Overseer's left arm. This gives you a 10% reduction in action points cost and VATS. Also extremely important to a lucky critical hit build. Okay, this is very important. Just makes things cost less when you're shooting in VATS. Alright, this is the one thing that's really going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's very expensive, but I think it's worth it. If you can get your charisma up to 11, it will cost you 9,000 caps. Or if you can get your charisma up to 17, and you can do that by using Excel and Day Tripper and Reginald suit and some great mentats. You can bring it as low as 7,538 caps, all right? But that's the one that's going to cost you a lot, right? Yeah, so I bought all my armor there. On top of that, I used the Newsboy cap. This is the Newsboy cap with the Ballistic Weave mod on it. I'll get into that later. Newsboy cap, that doesn't really have anything special to it. It's just the fact that it can be modded. And it also gives you +1 charisma, so it's part of my business suit. And what else here? Military fatigues, very important because it gives you a +2 bonus to agility. Alright, so it gives you more action points. And these also can be modded with the Ballistic Weave to bump up the damage resistance, so you can wear that under your armor. And that's it. And any kind of sunglasses that bumps up your perception. There's a lot of things out there. Patrolman sunglasses, fancy sunglasses, anything like that that has +1 perception. I wear those. Right, so that is my gear. Plus, of course, a hazmat suit. You can get hazmat suits all over the place. You can buy one from Becky. You get one for free at the Cambridge Polymer Labs. And black rim glasses. That's part of my business suit. Black rim glasses. You can get one in that little mole rat den right here at Red Rocket Truck Stop. There's a pair of black rim glasses right to your right. As soon as you go in the mole rat den on the little ledge right to your right. They're right there, right? And that's part of my business suit. So, business suit, black rim glasses, +1 charisma. This is the only thing I renamed. It's originally called Reginald suit. This is the reward you get for doing curtain call. That's where you rescue Rex from the super mutants at the Trinity Towers, okay? This gives you +3 charisma instead of +2 charisma like other pieces of clothing do. So it's pretty important for keeping prices low and for winning speech challenges. As soon as you come out of Diamond City, start pushing east and you'll get a radio signal. I forget which one it is. Trinity Towers, I think. Maybe one of these distress signals. I forget which one it is. But you'll hear this this distress signal. Clue into that, or like turn that on, and you'll hear Rex calling you over to Trinity Towers. Go to Trinity Towers, which is right there, Trinity Tower. Alright, go east and then like northeast, go to Trinity Tower, fight your way to the top through all the super mutants, rescue Rex, bring him back to the bottom, and he'll reward you with Reginald's suit. And that's +3 charisma. Alright, so that's my business suit. Black rim glasses, Reginald's suit, and the newsboy cap. That will bring my charisma up to, that's 1. That's +3, so now we're up to 5. The newsboy cap is 1, that's 6. And then once you add in great men tats and a beer and stuff like that, you can bring it up over 10. And then you can start winning like all the speech challenges and getting good prices and whatnot. Okay, so that is my gear. Next, quests. Basically, run through the main quests. You know, you go to like, you know how it goes. You go rescue the Minutemen at the Museum of Freedom. Go back to Sanctuary, do the Sanctuary quest, do the first step quest. What's his face sends you off to like typically 10 Pines Bluff, and you help out those guys. Do the first step quest. You're gonna need to do that in order to. Actually, I just did that for the experience. I took the main quest line all the way through to the end of Act 1, which is reunions. All right. So that would be in terms of a list of quests. After you help out the Minutemen is Jewel of the Commonwealth. That takes you down to Diamond City. Unlikely Valentine, that takes you over to the station there. This station, your Park Street station. Getting a clue, that's where you take dog meat and you go out to Fort Strong. Not Fort Strong. Fort Hagen. Takes you all the way out to Fort Hagen, and then finally you work your way through Fort Hagen and kill Kellogg for the reunions quest. This is important because it will give you access to the energy weapons bobblehead. You can't get in to get the energy weapons bobblehead unless you do all those quests. So that's the main reason why you're doing that. Energy weapons bobblehead. This will give you plus 25% critical hit damage for your energy weapons. Obviously a perfect fit for this build. Alright, now that's that for the main quests. Curtain Call I talked about. I also did the Ballistic Weave quests. I'm going to put links in the video description to all these quests so that you know, because I can't, you know, just tell you everything about how all these quests work. I've done all these quests in various walkthroughs, so I'll put links to all these quests in the video description, and you can look those up and see how all the details about doing those quests. The Ballistic Weave mod, that's where you can put armor on clothing. Alright, so that's why I'm able to, I'm sure I hope you know this by now. If you're doing a Far Harbor DLC, you should know this by now. Yeah, that's how you can mod clothing. So you can mod, like, say, the newsboy cap and put armor on it. See, this has an armor rating on it. Alright? And same with the where's my military fatigues? Normally, I think that just has like 10 damage resistance, but I've got it up to 90 because there's various levels of the Ballistic Weave mod. I'll just show you that right now. You could also mod the Reginald suit if you want, but I don't recommend it. Military fatigues, you see here. This is a special mod that you earn, by doing a series of quests for the railroad, and those quests are. First you go to the railroad, okay, and the way you hook up with the railroad is just simply going to the Old North Church. The Old North Church is right there, alright? Go there and you'll complete the Road to Freedom quest, hook up with the railroad, then you go on the Tradecraft quest with Deacon. There you go, Tradecraft quest, do that with Deacon. Then you come back to the railroad and do the Boston After Dark quest. That's another escort quest. Boston After Dark, where are you, sweetheart? There you go, Boston After Dark. After that, you'll do the Mercer Safe House quest, and finally, you'll do a jackpot quest, which is random. It's always called jackpot something. They gave me the Ruined Skyscraper. do all those quests, report back to Pam, and then go talk to Tinker Tom, and you'll get the Ballistic Weave mod, right? And once again, I'll put a link in the video description for a complete run through of that, complete walkthrough of that. All right, and that's how you can mod clothing. All right, so that's it for armor. Let's talk about bobbleheads. The Perception bobblehead, once again, is the easiest one to get. That's at the Museum of Freedom. It's like you bump right into it as you're doing the quest. Special, the Strength bobblehead, that is in the Mass Fusion building, right? On the 5th floor of the Mass Fusion building, right there. It's right near Good Neighbor, right? Go to the Mass Fusion building, fight your way through some fairly tough gunners, but you should be able to manage it around level 10 with your modded Righteous Authority. Should be no problem. Fight your way to the 5th floor, and you'll see the Strength bobblehead sitting right there. I'll put a link in the video description for my walkthrough of that. I did that in my Survival Plus run, I believe. So what have we got? Strength, Perception. I'll leave Endurance, Luck, and Agility for later on. I'll talk about those later on. Just talk about the easy ones first. Strength. Intelligence bobblehead. That's at the Boston Public Library, okay? You just walk in, gain access to the Boston Public Library, go to the back. It's in the kind of the computer room in the back, and it's sitting right there. It's pretty easy bobblehead to get to. And so that covers Strength, Perception, Intelligence, and Charisma. That's another series of quests I did to get the Mysterious Serum. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, the Mysterious Serum. Really important for Far Harbor, alright? Mysterious Serum will give you like rad resistance and bumps up your damage resistance, and also bumps up your strength, which will eventually also like bump up your carry weight. But the rad resistance, that's the biggie, okay? It just pretty much wipes out any rads you take within certain limits, but it wipes out a lot, and extremely useful in Far Harbor, because Far Harbor is full of radioactive fog everywhere. I mean everywhere, okay? Unless you on a rare occasion run into a bit of sunny weather, you're always going to be taking rads, right? So this is going to be very useful. The list of quests for that is, first of all, you just go to Bunker Hill and hook up with a ghoul named Edgar Deegan. Typically you meet him at Bunker Hill. Sometimes you meet him at Good Neighbor. Hook up with him, Edgar Deegan, and he'll tell you to come to the Cabot House. Go to the Cabot House, and you start up a series of 3 quests, which are Special Delivery, Emma Jean Takes a Lover, and The Secret of Cabot House. I wish they'd list these in alphabetical order. Here we go. Special Delivery, Emma Jean Takes a Lover, and The Secret of Cabot House. Do all those 3 quests. At the end of The Secret of Cabot House, make sure you side with Lorenzo Cabot, okay? Let him out of his jail. Side with him, and he'll give you a lifetime supply of the Mysterious Serum, right? And once again, I'll put a link in the video description about doing those quests. So that's that. Back to bobblehead. Sorry, this is a bit of a mess here because, like I said, I'm pressed for video production time. How did I get talking about that? Yeah, that's right. Sorry. The Charisma bobblehead. The Charisma bobblehead. The last quest in the Mysterious Serum series of quests will take you into Parsons State Insane Asylum. The only way you can gain access to this is to do those quests, okay? The Secret of Cabot House will take you into there, and in the basement, in the area where you find Edgar Deegan injured, on the desk in that area is the Charisma bobblehead. It's right there, alright? So that's 4 bobbleheads. Strength, Perception, Charisma, and Intelligence. The 3 tough ones are Agility, Endurance, and Luck. And these you want to leave till the end of your build, like when you're over level 20, alright? Leave it till then when you're really like all buffed out and everything, and you're kicking ass with your critical hit lucky strike build. Let me just look at my notes here. The Endurance bobblehead is in Poseidon Energy. I'm saying like leave it till the end because this is going to take you into high level enemy territory. The Endurance bobblehead is at Poseidon Energy. Where is it? Right here. Okay? Just give you perspective where all this stuff here. There's Diamond City Market. This is way down deep in Zone 6 for those of you who have the official game guide. Okay? Zone 6 is this area here. Alright, so this is like threat level 40, 45 plus. Alright, that means enemies that you encounter there are going to be level 40, 45, like really high level enemies. Alright, the Endurance Bobblehead is at Poseidon energy. The Agility Bobblehead is at the wreck of, just reading off my notes here, the wreck of the FMS Northern Star. Right? Okay, so Endurance Bobblehead is there. The Agility Bobblehead is at the wreck of the FMS Northern Star. And the Luck Bobblehead is on Spectacle Island. Okay, so those three super high level enemy territories are where you get those last three bobbleheads. And I'll probably do some videos on that. Maybe I'll do a bobblehead video if I get time. But that's where you find those bobbleheads. Let's just take a look at what else I've got here, just to remind myself. The Big Guns Bobblehead. This is going to be very important for a weapon that we're going to acquire in Far Harbor. I highly recommend that you get that. Let me look at my notes where I got that. Oh yeah, Vault 95. That's a bitch. You're going to have to square off with a bunch of Assaultrons, but it's worth it. The Big Guns Bobblehead. It's down in the glowing sea right here. There's the edge of the glowing sea. There's what's his face's Virgil's cave there. You know, remember you go here, Crater of the Atom, then they send you down to Virgil's cave. Vault 95 is right there. There's the edge of the glowing sea. Go out, clear out Vault 95, go into the dormitory at the end, and you find the Big Guns Bobblehead. The Big Guns Bobblehead will give you plus 25% critical hit damage for heavy weapons. Alright, heavy weapons, yeah, that's right, heavy weapons. Yeah, I'll get into that later. What else? Cover that. Energy weapons bobblehead, we covered that. That's in Fort Hagen. Guns and Bullets magazines out. I got all of them. I got 9 out of 10 Guns and Bullets magazine. Each one of them gives you plus 5% critical hit damage. I'll get into that in a minute. I got a couple of Massachusetts surgical journals. That's not really necessary. I just did that for melee bobblehead. That's I just got that because it was on the way. It's not really important. Small Guns Bobblehead. This gives you plus 5%, no, sorry, plus 25% critical hit damage to any ballistic weapon that is not a heavy weapon. This is not really necessary, but it's in the same location as one of the Guns and Bullets magazines, so you might as well pick it up. Speech Bobblehead, I forget where that is. Oh, that's when you rescue Nick Valentine. It's right there in that room. You rescue Nick Valentine. Gives you better prices and whatnot. That's it. So that just leaves the Guns and Bullets magazines. And I think we'll probably have to do a separate video for that as well. There's 10 of them. I got 9. The 10th one requires that you have Locksmith, Expert Locksmith. The Expert Locksmith perk, and I never put any points into locksmithing, so either that or you have to go hook up with one of the companions. I think her name is Kate, and she can open any lock, but I didn't bother doing that. It was only 5%. Here's a list of all the locations where you can get Guns and Bullets magazines. Pick each one up, and it gives you plus 5% critical hit damage to any ballistic weapon. I believe it applies to heavy weapons as well. Not just like small guns, okay? Applies to any ballistic weapon. As long as it's not an energy weapon, it should apply. I googled it to kind of confirm that. I couldn't find any information, but it seems to me that's the way it would work. Alright, and here's all the locations. So I got all those. Some of them are pretty tough. I recommend you leave this to the end as well. Alright, so here's all the locations. Ticonderoga Safe House. Quickly, I'll go through this. And maybe I'll do a Guns and Bullets magazine video as well. Ticonderoga Safe House. It's right here. You can only gain access to this if you do the series of quests for the railroad that gets the Ballistic Weave mod. And you're going to do that anyways. Once you do the Boston After Dark mission, that guy will lead you down to the Ticonderoga Safe House. And you go take the elevator up, and it's on the second floor up from the elevator where the elevator lets you off. It's on that floor there. Guns and Bullets magazine there. Fraternal Post 115 is just south of the Cambridge police station, right there. There's a Guns and Bullets magazine in there. Fort Hagen. You're going there anyways. If you take the entrance through the roof, take the entrance through the roof, not the entrance through the parking garage. Take the entrance through the roof. As soon as you get inside, turn to your right and look in the kitchen. It should be right there on the table. I'm just going by the top of off the top of my head for all this, believe it or not. Fourth one, Bad TFL Regional Office. That is just northwest of Bunker Hill, right there. Go in there, clear it out. It's in the chief's office, if I recall correctly. The rest of these are pretty tough. They're in high-level enemy territory. There's the Guns and Bullets magazine in the Rook family house. This is off to the west here. Where is this? Right here. Yeah, this is right near Far Harbor. When you eventually start working your way up to Far Harbor is right there. The Rook family house is there. There's the Guns and Bullets magazine in there. There's also Guns and Bullets magazine in the castle area. Right there. It's right in the middle of the yard there, on top of a table or a desk, something in the middle of the yard. Easy. But you're going to have to fight a ton of Mirelurks when you do that. Alright? South Boston Military Checkpoint. Where is that? Right here. Just west of the castle. There's a Guns and Bullets magazine there. Gunners Plaza. Gunners Plaza. That's in Territory 6. It's right there. Alright, there's this Guns and Bullets magazine there, as well as the Small Guns bobblehead. And finally, Quincy Ruins. Quincy Ruins. Right there. There's the Guns and Bullets magazine there. No, I haven't done a walkthroughs of any of this. Like I said, maybe I'll do a Guns and Bullets magazine run or a video to show you exactly where those are. Right, but that's where they all are. And finally, there's one Guns and Bullets magazine in the Cambridge police station. But like I said, you need locksmith rank 3 or 2 rather. The expert locksmith one right here. It's in the perception tree. You need perception for locksmith. This one right here. Alright? That's what we need to open that. Or hook up with Kate. And I think that about covers everything. That's my build. If there's anything I left out, I'll just have to add it in later on. So that's my guy. That's how I made him. And that's what we're taking into Far Harbor. So like I said, I really wanted to do this build video. So there you go. Lucky Thompson. Say hello, Lucky. Hello, Lucky. That's it. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Coming up next, we're going to jump right into Far Harbor and do that DLC. So, thanks for watching, and if you thought this video was remotely entertaining and or informative, please subscribe to my channel to get more videos like this hot off the press. Alright, see you next video.